Hi there, how's it going? So I'm Kieran Donnelly, and this is going to be the first episode of the introductory section of Fingerstyle School. So what we're going to do to start off with is we're going to make sure that we're sitting right, nice and comfortably with our back fairly straight, but arch forward just a normal amount. What we don't want is any kind of slouching, and we want our hands to feel comfortable, We're going to have the guitar with this kind of groove here of the body, and we're going to have that sitting nicely underneath. So I know that these are the sort of basic things that you get told at any sort of guitar lesson, but these things become really important the more that you play, and especially with fingerstyle when we're kind of doing more kind of difficult stretching and moving about the fretboard. You're not wanting to injure yourself unless you want your playing career to be cut, unfortunately, short. So what we're going to do to begin with, we're going to tune the guitar, everybody's favourite thing in the whole wide world. What I use, I just kind of use an app on my phone. It's a Fender tuning app. I think all the free ones are fairly similar in terms of their features. I'm not in standard tuning often. I have this guitar in standard. I have some other guitars that are all in different tunings. So whenever I'm using standard tuning, I kind of just use the auto tuner on this. So first of all, we're going to start off by tuning our guitars, and I hope you join in with me at home. Okay, so we're all done with tuning the guitar now. I hope your guitar sounds as in tune as it can. It's always a great place to start. So what we're going to do, kind of first of all, before I kind of explain how the kind of introduction lessons are going to work, is I'm going to start by just playing one of my pieces. So that piece is going to be called Getting Started, and through this piece I'm going to afterwards I'm going to analyse the kind of different ideas behind it, and we'll be using those ideas in future lessons as we unpack the kind of fingerstyle techniques and things like that, and incorporating a bass line and a melody and slapping and tapping and percussion and all those things. So I'll start off by playing just the kind of the first half of this piece before going on to analyse the sorts of things that we're going to be speaking about later. So we'll just go for that. Okay, so yeah, that was my piece getting started. So, kind of first off the bat, I know things can sound fairly complicated, and I think even for fingerstyle guitar, I think the tune is kind of overly complicated. Um, Funnily enough, it was actually the first major fingerstyle piece that I wrote, and it kind of just existed as a draft for a while, and then after my single Masks came out and the EP coming home I was kind of working on that. I figured it would be a kind of good place to put it in. And even kind of retrospectively, I'm thinking it was maybe even kind of almost too complicated sounding to sound kind of in place with the EP. But I think it exists as a good kind of document as to like how complicated things can get. And I think one of the main things that I feel with fingerstyle is that you should marry the complicated techniques with a good sounding harmony and melody line, because I feel like fingerstyle guitar can be one of those things where it's kind of like marmalade, or marmite. It's like some people really love it and some people really don't like it. And I think sometimes when people don't like it, it's because the kind of music they've been exposed to is like extremely kind of slappy tappy and like harmonics all the time, at the expense of a nice sounding melody line at the same time. So that's something to watch out for in future lessons as we begin to discuss arrangements and things like that. We'll speak about how marrying the two of them is extremely important for the fingerstyle genre and for making your own music. So yeah, as we saw there, just kind of to begin with that piece, it starts off with some kind of harmonics there. So what we're doing is we're kind of like moving down with this shape. So we're kind of playing these chords, moving down with this shape. So pretty kind of standard jazzy chord progression up and down. And in the middle, we're kind of adding in these harmonics, and then also on top of that, we're kind of adding in like the slapping of the thumb and kind of fingers down here. So the kind of slapping of the thumb is like fairly commonplace even in normal guitar playing now and contemporary like popular music. But it's kind of always good to kind of use that as kind of your backbeat, and without having to use the body of the guitar, especially when things are a bit more complicated. When things become more complicated on the fretboard, it's harder to kind of utilize the body. So using your thumb and your fingers here is a good place to kind of put the percussion in. So. And you'll also notice that in terms of percussion, it doesn't need to just be the body of the guitar you use or the thumb here. I'm actually using ghost notes to help with the percussion here. So we're kind of doing this. We're not always having to hit a note here. So in terms of the rhythm, it kind of just exists like this. And then we're just adding in notes around that. So. So even here, especially you'll notice at the end of this section, we're kind of just like putting in just things like this. It's just ghost notes that kind of help to fill out the rhythm. what's the method is constantly playing in the background to fill out the rhythm section. Yeah, so that piece is going to be the main one that we pick apart in future lessons, amongst some others. I just feel like that's a good example of kind of showing you what the extremes of what fingerstyle can be in terms of like the harmonics and using the guitar different parts of the body of the guitar for percussion, and the different kinds of harmonics and ghost notes and things that can be used. I feel like this is quite an extreme example of what fingerstyle guitar can look like, and so yeah, that's kind of where we are in terms of the standard tuning. So in the next episode we're going to move to tuning your guitar for fingerstyle, and this is going to be a kind of introduction to the more common tunings that fingerstyle practitioners use. You're probably familiar with some of them, but we're going to go through those. We're going to go through some of them and speak about the kind of different shapes and ways that you're going to move about the fretboard when you're in those tunings, and how the instrument almost changes. I would say to more like a piano when you're in these open tunings, and how you should go about analysing the fretboard from there. So I hope this lesson helped just to kind of expose you and show you the kind of world of fingerstyle and what the music kind of sounds a bit like. And I look forward to seeing you in episode 2, where we speak about an introduction to different tunings for fingerstyle guitar. We'll see you soon.